Okay. Almost was going to be very late for this. Got a phone call from my sister because she has an office here in my property. She just got back from Amsterdam, and before that it was Japan. But between those two trips was Mexico, and then she's going to oh man, I can't remember where. Can't keep up with the girl. But she locked her keys in the car down at Target. And I said, okay, why are you calling me? She goes, well, can you come help me? I said, all right, well, actually, I saw this technique on TikTok that get you into people's cars. And it was the masking tape trick. I got monster gorilla tape. You put 2 strips straight down beyond the car window. You roll them up like a handle. You put a frame around the window so that it all stays, it's pulling equally. And you pull down on the masking tape and it pulls the window down, and then you can reach in and grab it. Worked great on TikTok, did not work on a Mini Cooper. So I said, do you have AAA? She goes, yeah. I said, why didn't you call AAA? She goes, well, because I have Triple Charlie. I'm like, oh no, come on, man. Oh, and then to make it worse, Target's just 10 minutes up the street. Took me almost 20 minutes to get back. You want to know why? Who do you think was in town? Yep, Joe Biden. Because New Hampshire is such a battleground state that he decides to come up here. Wow. Okay, I've got to bring you up to speed on Arbor. We talked about it the other day. Tons of people showed up to the call. I think it was great. But let me read to you. This is back from the Viceroy Research report. They came up with Arbor Realty Trust, the cream of the flop. This is an assessment of 2018 to 2023 builds in Arbor's portfolio. Even the cream of the flop are doomed to fail. Now, let me give you some of the numbers of the properties that are in Arbor's portfolio, and you'll understand what their problem is. And as I go through it, you'll get a better understanding of exactly why they're in the trouble that they're in. I'll highlight it for you. For those of you in Urbalinda, if you know, you know. Okay, so let's talk about the fact is that in their whole CLO portfolio, the debt coverage ratio is 0.6. For those of you that know, it should be at the minimum 1.2. That means that nobody, the average property in their portfolio cannot make the payments. They have to show up to the table with 40% of the mortgage payment out of their own pocket. That's what's going on with Arbor. And the underlying LTV of the portfolio is 77%. Now, when I read that, I knew right away, oh, we've got a problem. And here's the problem, is that the LTV that they're using is based upon a valuation that is a massive lagging indicator, which means that they're using a cap rate that just doesn't apply anymore because it has definitely come down. And you can tell that just by looking at the debt coverage ratio. They're not making, these properties have no NOI, therefore they have no cap rate, therefore their loan to value is practically zero. So when I saw that the LTV of the portfolio is 77%, usually you want to see it at 80%. So 80% and 77%, that's not so bad. That means they're pretty close. Yeah, but the cap rate is a lagging indicator. That might have been the LTV 6 months ago, but that ain't the cap rate today. And then it goes on to say that the implied cap rate for the underlying CLO, and this is where my statement from just above is proven accurate. The implied cap rate is about 3.8%, folks. they're not 3.8 cap properties, especially when you find out more about what these properties are like. They're not 3.8. That means even Arbor was overvaluing these properties just to make the loans work. And it goes on to give the note, which is obviously ludicrous, means that the underlying LTV is vastly understated. And we know that to be true. All right. Then it goes on to say the financial metrics aside, Arbor's portfolio is a dumpster fire. The average build for the underlying assets is 1979. Their portfolio on average is C minus class property. If it's built in 1979, 1979 property has never seen a 3.8 cap rate, even back in 1979 when they built it. So this is definitely a problem. The average occupancy is 84.7. Remember, to get these loans, 90 for 90. They just showed 90% occupancy for 90 days. Now they're averaging 84.7 in a market where, well, there was huge demand a year ago. And this one just killed me when I saw this. Listen to this. Most borrowers appear to have no financial asset management, real estate, or investment experience. The property tenant reviews are almost exclusively atrocious. Viceroy has published many reports on Arbor's financial conundrums, such as the quality of its borrowers, their rapidly compounding delinquency rates, and the quality of its worst underlying assets. You can find them on their website. We think it's time for a change of pace. This report will highlight the best of the worst on Arbor's portfolio. Viceroy has selected a sample of recently constructed properties in the portfolio, of which there are about a dozen, and to showcase another financial conundrum that Arbor is facing. Okay, so we're just going to look in this report from Viceroy. We're just going to take a look and look at a couple of points regarding their best properties. All right, most of these were built between 2018 and 2023. So Arbor has provided hundreds of millions of dollars in loans to finance syndicate purchases of newly built units and, on some occasions, what appears to be construction financing disguised as a bridge loan. Now, substantially all of these new built underlying properties were purchased with high tenancy rates. Okay, now understand what that means, and they spell it out for you here in this next quote, but I'm gonna spell it out for you. They were purchased with high tenancy rates. Now, they don't really tell you exactly what they mean by rates. Could mean occupancy rates, and it could mean market rates, that the rents were at the highest possible, the tenancy was at the highest possible, and therefore that limits their possible NOI uplift. And those are Viceroy's words. But what that means is they got no place to go but down. There is little or no room for renovation of new build apartments, thus little ability to build net operating income. Every single one of these underlying assets is underwater, and cap rates will and have expired. And I'm sorry, rate caps will and have expired. That means, folks, that they can't refinance because they're upside down. They overpaid for the property. The cap rates have gone up. Now these properties are worthless on the books. None of these loans, I haven't even read all the way through this, and they're already coming up with the next bullet points that I just said. None of these loans qualify for refinancing or for agency loans, as they are underwater. Many borrowers appear to have concentrated exposure to Arbor, meaning Arbor was their best friend when it came time to buy these properties. The only guarantees from these borrowers appears to be equity in other multifamily residential investments, which are also likely underwater. So when they signed on the dotted line as a guarantor, because they had a great looking portfolio, it was just other multifamily, no diversification of their assets. And therefore, when the cap rates go up, their whole entire portfolio went down. So those guarantees are essentially worthless. Those owners are broke. Those guarantors are broke. And folks, I can tell you, if you're listening, if you're in this situation, if you are involved in a syndicated deal that is having trouble, that it's upside down, if one of your guarantors files personal bankruptcy, that is an event of default, and the lender will start foreclosure proceedings against all of you. So you are walking a tight line, a tightrope here between keeping your asset and hoping against hope that things are going to change, and your guarantor being upside down on everything and deciding that there's nothing more I can do. I want to keep my personal residence. I'm filing personal bankruptcy. And if that happens, you lose your asset. You lose your entire investment. It's a New York City case. I talked about it on past YouTube lives that I have. And I think the name of the case is the address of the building that was being foreclosed on. So if you want to go back and find out that information, and find out, and you just Google it, and it can pull up the whole kit and caboodle. All right, let me see. Most of I'm looking right here at the chart that shows the best of the best. You're looking at loan to values from 56% up to 84%. 80% LTV would be what we're shooting for. The net operating income on these is well, again, average. Let me see if I can find one. Debt coverage ratios. Oh, we got 1.08. Villages of Chandler, BTR. That's a 0.19 debt. I'm sorry, a 0.08 debt coverage ratio. Let's see the occupancy. The occupancy is around, well, one's at 32%. That's the Villages of Chandler, which was built in 2023. So built in 2023, they haven't even started to load it up yet. Cap rates, valuations, highest is a 5.0, 5.3, 2.92. So yeah, how does Arbor intend to rehabilitate these loans in the likely event that many become delinquent? Well, I think we know. And you got Jay Gavagelli, or whatever his name is, who can tell you. They'll foreclose on you, and then they'll set up a straw man from within their inner sanctum, give them 1% ownership, and then they'll buy the property back at foreclosure. A consistent theme with these newer properties appears to be operator inexperience and absurd valuations despite poor asset quality. I'm going to read to you the final bullets from Viceroy, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to read to you the names of the properties that they just are referring to as having inexperienced operators and absurd valuations. The Generations loan is 30. Okay, so they're actually speaking about specific properties. Yep, they are. So let me read you the names of the properties. So we got 88th Avenue. We've got 55 Jordan Avenue in New Jersey. We have Bella Vista Apartments. Then you can't figure out the rest of the addresses. Citizens Square Apartments, The Generations, North Chase Village Apartments, The Julian, Villages of Chandler, BTR, and Woodland Cottages Bridge. And here's what they have to say about these particular properties. The Generations loan is 30 days delinquent, and the Generations is got a debt coverage ratio of 0.32. That one's going back to the bank. Occupancy of 79%. Debt coverage ratio of 0.32 with a 79% occupancy. That ain't good. But they have a cap rate of 2.92. Yeah, sure they do. The Julian loan is currently subject to credit risk. Industry sources have advised that the Julian has additional borrowings to the tune of approximately $37 million and have sent Julian's pro forma accounts and pitch deck to supplement this claim. So in other words, additional borrowings, which means the Julian either added additional debt onto the property before they bought the property and didn't tell the bank, or once they got into trouble, they started to raise additional money and they got themselves into trouble. Let me give you some highlights on the Julian. That's at a debt coverage ratio of 0.72, and the occupancy is 88%. But don't worry, the cap rate's 3.3. That'll all work out really well. The Julian, like almost every other Arbor underlying property, has terrible Yelp reviews. Inconsistency across review sites suggests a significant number of fakes. Yep, that's exactly what that means. Now, here's the thing. The Julian was built in 2020. It's only 4 years old. Where are they getting their bad reviews from? It was renovated the same year. Well, no. Built in 2020, that should be a Class A property or A minus, depending upon the amenities. Nitya Capital. Now, we've talked about Nitya Capital. That's at one of the syndicators that was going great guns. And now you can find out all about them on The Real Deal. Nitya Capital has infamously sold substantial portions of its portfolio, citing a rising rate environment. Like many other Arbor underlying properties, North Chase Village Apartments has terrible reviews and has been the location of multiple shootings. Oh yeah, wait a minute. This property is North Chase Village. North Chase Village was built in 2018. These are new properties. Gosh, they're not even putting any type of tenant criteria. No criminal or credit and background check. Credit background check, because they're just trying to pull people in from everywhere. And the sponsors of Bella Vista Apartments, JJRS Investments Group, is a small-time syndicate run by 3 managers. JJRS Investments. Small syndicate run by 3 managers who do not appear to have any investment, real estate, or asset management backgrounds outside of personal investments. JJRS Investments. Let's take a look and see what we can find out about these guys. We're going to scroll down. JJRS Investments Group. Commercial real estate investments. Contact us. About us. Let's see. Rakesh Balakrishnan, Hanish John, Shalash Berry. Okay. Let me see. Active real estate investor. He holds both a single-family and multifamily units in his portfolio. He's an active investor. Okay, no, yeah. He's currently focused on deal acquisitions. Holds an MBA from UNC, Keenan Flagler, with 15 years of IT experience. Oh, geez, guys. Capital raising investor. He has a long experience in information technology with a focus on analytics. Yep, they all went to some boot camp. And they, wow, they've got a huge portfolio. And how much you want to bet? It's like 50 grand in one, 50 grand in another. Yeah, they're all kind of all over the place. I have no doubt that's exactly what they did here. Is they got involved with some guru, and the next thing you know, they are going great guns. Let me see. Yeah, that's all we know about him. It's unfortunate, but yeah, that's what happens, and we're seeing it more and more. You got to be dealing with people that know what they're doing, that are in it for the long haul. I was early on in my business. We had 5 particular partners in our deal. My wife and I being 2 of the 5. Market turned, market crashed. 3 take off. Never heard from again. We stayed and rode that apartment all the way to the end. And I'll tell you. We didn't make a dime on that property. Ended up seeing that property again when I was on the Shark Tank with Cornelius Cannon, which I'm going to be on again this Thursday. So make sure it's called something different right now. And I apologize for not knowing, because I'm actually going to be sharing with everybody about my deal, which I think you'll see the difference in the numbers and what we consider a deal and what these other people consider a deal. So we're very excited about pitching the deal on Thursday. Make sure you're there, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want, maybe I don't think Molly even has the link. Maybe she does, but look out for me on Thursday. I'll be pitching that. I'll be talking about it again. So we will tell you. I'll tell you more about it on Thursday's YouTube Live. So watch for the upcoming of that. So there it is, folks. This is what's going on in the marketplace. I didn't like that last YouTube live that I did where I talked about Arbor buying these properties back at foreclosure. Now, banks buy properties back at foreclosure all the time, but the way that Arbor did it was not typically the way it's done. Of course, they'll say it is, but I'm not so sure. I want to see what happens there. Maybe this is their strategy, but we'll see. All right, everybody, great to see you all. I will see you on Thursday twice if you'd like, and if you would like to see what a good deal looks like, Thursday at 8. I will see you then. All right, thanks everyone. It's great to see you, and we'll talk later.